Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen and everyone else, to a beautiful afternoon here in Rugby. After the half-term break, we're back and live for another schoolboy game between Rugby School and the very impressive Bromsgrove. Rugby School, of course, still chasing their second win of this monumental 200th anniversary season. They have stiff competition to face today. Bromsgrove played 7, won 7, an undefeated season ahead of their Area Cup final against Stamford School later on in the week. Well, what promises to be a tantalising fixture with two incredibly quality teams. Joining me alongside is George Duffety, the top try scorer in the Bromsgrove side, sidelined with an injury at the moment. Thanks for being with me, George.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it is a truly beautiful day for rugby. Clear skies and bright sun. Excellent conditions for this incredibly exciting Bromsgrove side. But we'll go through the rugby team as per the home side here on the close. Matthew Brown starts in the front row with the England under-18. Robert Gaffan, Hugh Salveson completes the row. Sam Bird and James Canvin played mostly at prop this season, but did start the season in the row, in at number 5. Adam Viriani has played his way into some really good form, has become a regular starter in the back row. Jack Brown back from an injury sustained before the half-term. And Pietro Kekinato starts at number 8 for the injured Roberts, another newly dubbed England under-18. Sam Gallagher starts at number 9, of course, with the two first-choice 9s, Oscar Tebbett and Luke Shavasande, both out with injury. But Jordan Stridham, the South African of Grays College, comes back in to fly half. Nathaniel Kayada and the very impressive Rufus Pearce at vice-captain fill the centres, with Roslyn Park winning, Harry Tannett, a stalwart on the wing. Marcus Law, who established himself just before half-term, on the other side, and Alfie Mitchell, who's played all across the playmaking roles at 10 and 15 this season, starts at 15. A pretty stacked bench as well for rugby. Those players taking part in the second team game over on the other pitch. We're here at Old Big Side, of course, the main pitch at Rugby School. And a Bromsgrove School side to get stuck into. Fraser Jones, one of the 50-50 split of lower 6th and younger players in this frighteningly young and impressive Bromsgrove side. Harrison Osborne at vice-captain, another Midlands West Academy players. There'll be plenty of them to list off here, with Oliver Holden of the Midlands West Academy completing the front row. Marcus Townsend forward starts with Owen Hill, the under-16, in the second row. Jack Gilbert, a defensive lead at 6, with Kingsley Reid and James Hobbs finishing off the forward pack. James Hobbs, yet another Midlands West Academy player. Ben Benson and Captain Ben Yeo start at 9 and 10, with Henry Parsons and Brendan Colley holding down the centres. Two more Midland West players, including Henry Parsons, the EAP delegation, so one to watch out for at 12. Josh Horton, who's one try behind George Duffety in co-coms with me today, on one wing, with Henry Clack starting on the other. Toby Lewis at fullback. Well, George, we'll talk about this remarkable season that Bromsgrove have had so far. 7 wins in the season already against some tough opposition, including the likes of Stowe and Oakham that have already come here and beaten rugby.
Yeah, well, we've had many hard-fought battles, against Birthplace instead, where we won by 1 point, and then against the former champions Oakham, where we won by a number of points. And honestly, some great commitment from the team, great players, and also some very nice victories to finish it off.
That standout game, the last fixture that Bromsgrove had, an 8-3 win over Northampton School for Boys in the Cup. I mean, that sounds like a seriously good game of rugby for the purists, at least.
Yeah, the conditions weren't the best. Narrow pitch, the rain was hurling down at us, and obviously we were down 3-0 at half-time. Henry Parsons, our 12, came back to give us a penalty in the second half to make it 3-3. And then our number 4 for today, Marcus Townsend forward, with a beautiful last-minute try to secure the win. And came back from Northampton, smiles on faces, and moving forward to the Cup with Stamford on Wednesday.
Well, we're really familiar with this rugby side here on Next Gen, of course, and it's great to see some names returning to the team sheet after a couple of lengthy injuries. Jordan Stridham, of course, one to watch out for. But tell us about Ben Yeo, the captain at fly half.
Well, he's a brilliant player. He actually used to be in Midlands West, but due to some complications, he decided to leave to better his education and other reasons. He's a brilliant player, loves a bit of a kick, and is a great playmaker as well. One to watch out for.
Well, we'll talk about the coaching staff behind both these teams as well. We talk often about Mike Bailey, of course, appointed in 2017 here at Rugby, former coach in Super Rugby. Brings some serious pedigree with himself to run this rugby school programme. But Tony Window in charge of Bromsgrove, been there since 2011, over 200 caps for both Worcester and Gloucester. It must be pretty inspiring to have a coach of such pedigree in at Bromsgrove.
Yes, it definitely is. No, he pushes us really hard, he wants us to be the best. His drive and commitment is insane. No one else has that drive and commitment that our teacher has, our coach. We're blessed to have him.
Well, it's shaping up to be an incredibly exciting fixture here as Rugby School in their famous white strip return to the field ahead of their pre-match ritual of smashing it up against the pads. Pristine conditions that we've been so lucky to often experience here at Rugby School. A reminder then of rugby's season so fast. Got underway with a tough loss to the defending school champions, as George alluded to, Oakham, 42-24. Rugby lost that game before an agonising 1-point loss to Haileybury. They had a great showing. It's a very impressive Bedford side, but still lost that game by 27-19 before falling narrowly to Eton. Losses to Stowe, one of the sides that Bromsgrove themselves have beaten already this season. And then a loss to Ipswich, of course, and that was straight after their massive win against Sedbergh, so the wrong time to play Ipswich School. A very narrow loss to Wellington, of course, are in action today, still live on Next Gen against Clifton College. But they did beat Oundle 27-14 here at Rugby School on the close, of course. Been an active playing field since 1750. This pitch older than the game itself. Still chasing for that second win, but they've got a tough task in front of them. George, did you think coming into the season that you were going to start with such a sort of unprecedented ability? 7 straight wins against some really tough opposition.
Well, as a new member to Bromsgrove myself, I wasn't too sure how the team would fare. I knew it would be good, but this is just an impressive start, something that I was not expecting. And obviously today against Rugby, we're looking to break that record, be our first loss, and however, I'm sure Bromsgrove can fare well.
Well, it's an impressive start to Bromsgrove season, as we've discussed. They've already racked up more wins this season than they had last. 5-7 record last year, with plenty of young players moving into this squad. A whole load of lower six individuals and a few under-16s as well. Rare to have a starter at first team level at schools of this pedigree, but Owen Hill, an under-16 starting at number 5 for Bromsgrove. Must have seriously impressed in training.
Yeah, well, there's not too much to say. He's a brilliant player, and obviously impresses a lot on the pitch, off the pitch. He's got a lot of drive to be in this team, to help this team. You know, he's always sending inspiring messages to make us work harder and make us work as hard as him. You know, it's just a great addition to the team. It really helps us in all the matches.
Well, Owen Hill and Townsend Ford will have a tough time in the second row, matched up against Sam Bird of the Leicester Tigers, who's started all but one game this season for Rugby, and James Camvin, one of the most versatile Type 5 forwards, back starting against Bromsgrove today. Just a few minutes away from kick-off here as Rugby look to get their second half of this term underway. Well, we should point out there's still quite a long list of injuries for Rugby School. Jack Drew, their usual 13, is out at the moment, along with Dahiru Wada, one of their key players on the wing, Will Hosking, and Jake Roberts, of course, who just experienced an England call-up for number 8, unfortunately unable today. Oscar Talbot as well, the Midland centre under 16, who broke into the first team last term, is also out injured. And then both 9s, Oscar Tebbert and the very impressive Luke Travasande, the South African 9-10 partnership that we've been waiting to see, only seen a couple of times this season. First Jordan Stridham injured and then Travasande himself, but Stridham back in the side, starting at fly half today. in all white here at Rugby School. Well, the success of this Bromsgrove side this season didn't come from nowhere. Of course, new to the school yourself, George, but looking at the under-16 results last season for Bromsgrove, played 12 and won 10. So seriously impressive set of results for an under-16 side. And of course, the likes of Jack Gilbert, James Hobbs, Henry Clack and Ben Benson have all moved up, along with Henry Parsons, from that under-16 team into the first team setup. And you were also new to the squad yourself. How have all of these new faces really settled in to the first team here at Bromsgrove?
Honestly, the first team, we've clicked really well. It's almost like we're kind of one age group at this point, you know, and it's brilliant to see, obviously, because you know, our team that binds well, joins well, is a team that will play better, and as you can see in our record so far this season, I think it's shown.
Well, speaking to Angus Savage in the run-up to this game, of course, he's away in watching Clifton College take on Wellington, another huge fixture at this level. He was expecting a strong showing from Bromsgrove today. But here on the close, of course, at the very home of rugby, we'll see if the home side can disrupt. Well, a bellowing cheer from the white shirts, and unfortunately you're not able to play yourself, George, but it must be pretty special coming to the home of the sport that you love so much and watching your boys take on this rugby school side.
Well, yeah, it's very nice to be here, supporting them. Of course, I'd rather be on the pitch. You know, our first game was live streamed, but now we must be quiet for the remembrance.
Minute silence, of course, on this Remembrance weekend. Just waiting for the second 11 to line up themselves as we remember all those who've lost their lives in conflict. Well, a respectful and dignified response from both sides, and in a world of such turmoil, what better way to represent the freedom that so many lost their lives fighting for than by taking in the action here between two of the younger generations, able to prosper and thrive in the very freedom that was created by those taken from us. Kick-off here at Rugby School. Bromsgrove get us underway, and it's taken well by Tannet off the kick-off. And a feature of Rugby School, as we've discussed before on these live streams, is playing from anywhere, but spilled off first receiver, and Bromsgrove have their first attack of the game. Benson finds Gilbert at first receiver. This time finds Yeo, who spreads it wide himself, and the first carry from Parsons. Once again, they go through the forwards. Oliver Holden, of real physical stature. Once again, Yeo finds Townsend Ford. Quick ball from Benson. Out the back this time they go. Hobbs playing a more creative role in the backfield. Great tackle on Clack, but Benson has the ball again. Yeo through the forwards once more, well gathered by Jack Gilbert. One of the many Midlands West players that litter this Bromsgrove side. As Yeo just once again takes Bromsgrove through the phases. It's good defence from Rugby to keep them contained, but this time Yeo takes it to the line himself. Still Benson has it. Searching once more for Holden. It's a good tackle by Brown. And Rugby holding Bromsgrove at the moment, but there could be a bit of space out wide here. Colley searching for Clack. But all he can find is touch, and a strong start for Rugby, who have kept out this frightening Bromsgrove attack. You must say, George, it was a very impressive defensive set to keep Bromsgrove contained.
Yeah, you know what, they've worked hard. We've got to give it to them. Now let's see how they can attack and see how Bromsgrove can defend.
First line out then for Gaffan, the captain of Northampton Saints. Was away before half-turn with the England camp in a Type 5 training session before being selected for that under-18 squad. But it's his first line out of the day here. It's a touch overthrown, but well gathered at the back, and Rugby will have possession. Uriani at first receiver. Bromsgrove are over the ball, but the young under-16 Gallagher fishes it out, and Stridham with a long boot. Doesn't find touch, instead finds Bromsgrove on their 10-metre. Lewis sends it back towards the South African, and there's an unkind bounce. But Rugby made some good metres, and almost up to the 10. Once again with the ball in hand of the captain, Robert Gaffan. Well, a fast start to this game. Rugby opting for the exit from inside their own half. We'll see if they'll look to play here, and it's a strong carry from Riani. Bromsgrove once again are over the ball, but it's a great ruck from Rugby. Still looking to play, still inside their 10. Stridham into the wide channels they go. Good metres made. Rugby once again over the gain line. This time they'll carry through Brown, who makes great metres. But it's been knocked on in contact, so the turnover has been enforced by Bromsgrove, and what looked like a great carry from Matt Brown has resulted in a turnover. Well, Rugby were getting over the gain line, but it would have taken a lot for them to go the full length against this Bromsgrove side, George.
Yeah, they are looking dangerous. Some nice short carries, but we're yet to see anything wide or out the back. You know, let's see as the game progresses how that fares.
Are we expecting to see interesting strike play from Bromsgrove then, perhaps?
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Don't want to give too much away at this moment, but definitely we've got some nice strike plays lined up. Let's hope we can pull one of them off now.
Well, it is a seriously sizable front row with Harrison Osborne and Holden in there, both of the Midlands West Academy. Formerly the Worcester Academy, of course, but it's great to see that players are still being given opportunities on the academy stage, regardless of what happens further up the chain. Ben Benson, another of the Midlands West Academy. Another one of that impressive under-16 side that's moved up this season. It's a good counter scrum from Rugby, but Benson's darting down the short side instead. And there's a great offload and a good carry from Hornton. Rugby go in for the counter ruck, but they're off their feet. And Bromsgrove have made great metres with a pick and go driving on. Yeo skips out the back and finds the centre partners instead, and now Colley taking it to the line. The ball went to ground, but the referee waves play on. They crash through Gilbert, but they've driven their way all the way up to Rugby's 22. Yeo takes it on himself and ships it inside. It's a great shot from Camvin. But still Bromsgrove look to play expansive rugby. A lofted ball from Gilbert. Couldn't be held by Henry Clack. Bromsgrove playing with penalty advantage. All the way on that far side. And it was the attempted counter-ruck that Rugby went off their feet. And although the scrum didn't go to plan, George, they've still made plenty of metres. through Ben Benson. Just really explosive play from the number 9 down that short side.
Well, he's just a brilliant player, isn't he? He's a great addition to the team. We're obviously blessed to have him at number 9. You know, he's one to watch. Fancy feet, good pace. What can you say more, really?
Well, unfortunately, that kick from Bromsgrove didn't find touch, and Rugby looked to run it out from right on their own 5 metre. And instead, Jordan Stridham will hack it clear. And touch found. A good clearance from Rugby, but it will be a line out for the red and white of Bromsgrove. Rugby really well contained inside their own half in this opening 10 minutes. But the scores remain level here at the close on Old Big Side, the main pitch at Rugby School, as Bromsgrove find Gilbert at the back and then crash it up first phase through the forwards. The ball is loose in the breakdown. Rugby have dropped on it, and illegally so. Well, Kekinato's eyes lit up as the ball became free. But now Ben Yeo has another opportunity to find touch from the penalty. And this time he does. Well, George, he's gotten unlucky there, really, because the ball's come loose. Kekinato's dropped on it, but he's gone straight off his feet. So the penalty goes against him, and now a great opportunity for Bromsgrove.
Yeah, you know, as I can hear from the commentator box, I can hear the ref shouting, no, no, don't go around. You know, he's gone around and, you know, face the consequences. That's why you've always got to listen to the ref.
Well, good disruption from Rugby, and Brown comes away with it and will look to crash it up from the carry. Great turn from Matt Brown, who's made some excellent meters all season for Rugby School, and Bromsgrove miss out on their best attacking opportunity of the game so far. As Stridham takes it to the line himself and breaks through the first contact. Good interplay with him and Kekianato. Iriani with the offload. It's fine Pearce, but some more real discipline from Rugby School. Rufus Pearce just rotating on the ground, and well, George, that's been illegal for a few years now, and Bromsgrove will have another attack.
Yeah, well, you just can't roll anymore. Obviously he's rolled there, and you know, it's a silly penalty to give away. It's just ill-disciplined, really, and I think Bromsgrove, hopefully we can pounce on the money.
Well, just as Rugby looked to build some momentum, it was a good carry from Pearce over the gain line. He had players in support. Fraser Jones straight over the ball, unable to tear it away, as Rufus Pearce was rotating illegally. Osborne with the ball in hand. Bromsgrove with another opportunity, having wasted their first from a similar position over on the far side. Up go Rugby to compete, but once again it's found Gilbert at the back, and this time Parsons takes it on himself. Benson, Townsend forward. Benson, Yeo, Holden with a big carry, breaking through the tackle of Pearce. But they're being held well by Rugby at the moment, at least. Offload off the floor, it's gone forward, and Rugby will come away with it. Scrum advantage for the men in white. And as is their style, they'll play from anywhere with this advantage. Stopped on the 10. But in goes Gallagher to fish it out and finds a forward carry off first receiver. Down the short side they go. Pearce with a great ball out wide and driven up to halfway. Great work from Brown to weather the first contact. Stridham finds Brown, lovely offload, and another off the floor. Kayada with ball in hand for the first time. Gallagher plays away. Stridham spots a hole, dragged down by Colley. Quick ball, and suddenly Tannett might be on the out and outside. Tannett's attempted ball inside ricocheted off a Bromsgrove player, and then Sam Bird in the end has put it down. But some ferocious carrying from Rugby School, and Bromsgrove really tested there, George.
Yeah, you know what? Rugby school are looking very turned on. Can't say quite the same for Bromsgrove just yet, but I know that we can turn it up a few gears. And of course, we'll get back into the game, get on the front foot, and hopefully get some more tries.
Well, this undefeated Bromsgrove side, who have only failed to score at least 20 points once this season in their 7 undefeated appearances, will look to exit from on their 22 from the scrum. Rugby had the shove on the sizable Osborne, Holden and Jones previously, and once again they look to disrupt, but Benson comes away with it. Brown's over the ball. Good clear from Bromsgrove as they look to go for high into this early afternoon sunlight. Mitchell looking to take on Parsons, and Mitchell once again regathers from the loose ball. Well, it's picked quickly at the breakdown. And Bromsgrove are there in numbers. Carried by Kekinato. Gallagher, Stridham. Well, the ball once again goes loose, and this time the knock-on is given. A good exit from Bromsgrove. Defended well, have won back the ball. But a penalty for a high tackle is the call. There's the knock-on. Just some good defence from Bromsgrove, but following the pick and go from the breakdown, I believe the tackle was high. So Stridham will find touch. And Gaffan with towel in hand will look to prepare the ball for what is rugby's best striking position of the game. Undefeated all season, George, but getting a little bit nervous perhaps at this stage.
No, I wouldn't say so, because we're only, 13 minutes in. So there's still a lot of minutes left to play, still 65 to go. A lot can happen in that time.
Well, the game certainly has flown by. But as Sam Bird collected that line out, the call is not straight. So Bromsgrove will have the scrum. And just like the red and white did when they were on Rugby's 22, the home side have wasted that opportunity. Still just the one win this season for Rugby School. Even if they have stacked their fixture list with some of the biggest names that English schoolboy rugby has to offer in celebration of this 200th anniversary of the invention of the game here on the Close. Another scrum with Bromsgrove to feed. And this time it's quick ball for Benson to find a first receiver, and Bromsgrove are through the hole. It's a lovely offload. Great tackle by Kayana, but another offload through contact, and this time Horton goes herring away. Rugby are looking to disrupt at the breakdown, but it's come to Colley, who got that move started with a great offload and supporting line. Suddenly the momentum is all with Bromsgrove. Parsons. Shouts of give from the sideline, but he takes it on himself. Well, the ball goes loose. But looks like we'll come back for a penalty to Bromsgrove. Offside is the call. And out of absolutely nothing, George, Bromsgrove have driven their way right into Rugby's 22 from this penalty.
Well, yeah, that's just what Henry Parsons does. Creates opportunities out of nothing. He's a brilliant player. We're blessed to have him as well. Would have thought that he might have gone for the post there. Obviously, Henry Parsons has only ever missed 2 penalty kicks in his whole time at Bromsgrove. He's quite a strong kicker, but if they decide that's the better option, then fair enough.
Well, that's a frightening statistic for Rugby to contend with, just 2 penalty misses in his short career at Bromsgrove. The now lower 6th, highlighted as an EAP player within the Midlands West Academy, so has a real future ahead of him. And that's a great break from Parsons and Colley from the scrum. And now the forwards will profit as they go to the maul. It's a good counter drive from Rugby, but Bromsgrove keep it in. Once calls the referee, so Benson will look to play away. Well, it's actually Parsons at first receiver this time. Over the ball go Rugby. And they've turned it over as well, and Gaffan hacks it clear himself. He can only find Lewis, who puts it to the toe, with Hornton in pursuit. Stridham, lovely offload, but Hornton is still hurrying the Rugby back line. A frantic bit of play, but Rugby do come away with it. And they'll carry through the forwards, looking to get over the gain line, deep inside their own half. Brown relieves some pressure with a great carry. Gallagher, this time to Stridham, who'll hack it clear. And Benson's back there for Bromsgrove. Yeo. And they've got numbers in this left-hand side if they use them. Parsons. Gilbert once again finds himself in the line. Lovely offload to Colley. Out the back door once more, but put down by Ben Benson. And we'll have a scrum for Rugby School. And that was the closest either side have come, George, to opening the scoring.
Yeah, you know, it's unfortunate with the knock-on, but once again, creating something out of nothing. It wasn't even Henry Parsons this time, but still shows that there's a lot of versatility in this team. I'm happy to be on it.
Well, Jack Gilbert has found himself in the backfield a couple of times already for Bromsgrove. Does he fancy himself in the centres?
You'd have to ask him that. He's quite a creative player, and I'm sure he backs his hands in over a lot of people, so I'm sure he'd be happy to play there if he came the opportunity. Definitely 13 though, he likes a hard line.
Only in lower sixth and already touted as Bromsgrove real defensive leader. Now young Harry Gallagher, the under-16, deputising excellently well for the two number 9s out injured, and Kekianato will pick from the breakdown. Rugby secure the ball well. Canvin poised at first receiver, breaks through the first tackle. Good gain line success for Rugby. And Jordan Stridham once again will clear. Into the sunlight, but well taken by Clack. Lewis will return the kick. Jordan Stridham's put into retreat. This time finds touch. Well, a great return for Toby Lewis to put Stridham under a bit of pressure, and some great meters made by Bromsgrove.
Yeah, always some good attacks with Bromsgrove. Very creative, nice running play style. And you know, it's going to put Rugby's defence under a lot of pressure. But Rugby seem to have been holding up quite well so far. Let's see if they can carry that on for the rest of the game.
Rugby have defended valiantly so far. It's another line out for Osborne. And once again they go to the back where they've got really reliable set play. Good carry. Bromsgrove have clean ball. But there's a penalty off the ball, unfortunately, that goes the way of Rugby and brings an end to the Bromsgrove attack. Just getting a little bit too excited in the clear out there, George.
You know what, it was just silly. I think that's ill-discipline, and you know, James Hobbs is a very good player, but it's just a little mishap there. I think he knows for next time not to do that, and to get a bit too excited, as you said.
Stridham finds touch, well caught in the crowd in front of our commentary box here. Well, it was a pretty powerful clear out, but a solid 20 metres away from where the ruck had formed. So definitely a penalty, unfortunately, George.
Yeah, just got a little bit excited there. Good power, that's what we like to see. Nice, boys.
Well, Bird claims Gaffan's line out, and Adam Viriani takes first contact of this phase of attack for Rugby. Brown just loses his footing, and Bromsgrove hunting for a turnover, but Gallagher comes away with it. Stridham, big shot in the defensive line, and Bromsgrove have turned it over. But the ball's out, however, so Rugby come away with it. Knock-on advantage going the way of Bromsgrove. Well, we're 20 minutes into the game now, George, and after such a successful winning run, will there be a little bit of frustration in the Bromsgrove side for not converting some of the chances they've had in Rugby's 22?
You know what, maybe, but I think that as a team we bounce back from setbacks like this. In many games we've actually been losing at points until the final amount of minutes, final 10 minutes, but actually we come back and we put points on the board and get the win. So setbacks just make for major comebacks, so it's all right.
Well, we'll see what kind of response Bromsgrove have. Once again, they have possession inside Rugby's half. They've come the closest to scoring. Ben Benson just couldn't hold on to a offload that would have seen him away, but suddenly Bromsgrove could find a little bit of space in the wide channels before Lewis cuts back inside. Benson, Yeo, once again finds Gilbert in the back line and offloads it to Parsons, and penalty advantage goes the way of Bromsgrove. Yeo, Owen Hill. Yeo takes it to the line himself, gets the offload away. Another offload from Osborne, and another from Holden, and Bromsgrove playing with a bit of momentum. Well, a mistake from Bromsgrove brings an end to that attack, but they were playing with penalty advantage. High tackle is the call, not the area to give away fouls like that. But once again, for the second time in this game, Bromsgrove failed to find touch. Well, it's not for the want of trying, but just a bit too ambitious from those last two attempts to find touch from inside Rugby's 22, George.
Yeah, I think it's just small mishaps. You know, it's definitely not usually like this. You know, everyone makes small mistakes. It's fine as long as he comes back from it and puts it right, as he always does.
Rugby then with a 22 dropout. Not too many of these left in the modern game. But from the kick return, Bromsgrove have looked really dangerous, especially down this left-hand side from their attack in front of our commentary box here, and that's the direction they'll attack in once more. Gilbert takes two to bring him down. Yeo, offload right up to contact there. Clack brought down. Yeo first receiver this time. Holden, the good leg drive over the gain line. Benson, Yeo through the forwards. Gilbert puts it out the back, as does Townsend Ford, and Horton breaking through the tackles. Up to the 22. Yeo well set. Hill gets the offload away, and Gilbert bumps through the first tackle and looks for Hill on the return. The ball eventually loose just behind the young second row. Benson finds Yeo, inside pass once again. Gilbert so close to breaking through. Patient play from Bromsgrove, freeing up the hands. Brown over the ball, but there was no lift, so Benson will pick and find Yeo. Gilbert this time offloads to Holden. Brown over the ball for Rugby. Ben Benson still finds Yeo. This time Parsons gets the offload away. Colley looking to tease this Rugby defence. Some real composure about this Bromsgrove attack, and once again Gilbert frees up the hands, finds Townsend Ford, but it's been put down, and Rugby have weathered the storm, and it really looked inevitable there that Bromsgrove were going to open the scoring here, but George, just a simple knock-on, has once again lost the possession for this Bromsgrove side.
You know what, may just be a bit of nerves. Obviously today is Henry's debut. He's come in as I've obviously been injured, not able to play number 11 anymore. Might be a little bit of nerves, but I'm sure he'll settle in no time. And you know, apart from a few knock-ons, he's been playing well, and we hope to see more from him.
Well, Bromsgrove certainly able to attack through the phases there. Really patiently making yards at every opportunity. But just as they made their way into the 5 metre of Rugby School, it was put down at the very last. Scrum then from the knock-on for Rugby, who aren't out of the woods yet, with a set piece on their 5 metre. Gallagher with the feed. As the referee reels off those familiar instructions, and well, the ball spits out straight away, and Benson might crash over here. And the lightning fast feet of Ben Benson have opened the scoring for Bromsgrove. The most opportunistic of scoring opportunity, and Benson's taken it.
He's just an electric player, brilliant 9, and obviously he pounced on opportunities given to him.
Well, it looked like a simple enough scrum for Rugby. They've been able to hold this Bromsgrove side so far, and as Gallagher feeds this ball, it just cannons off the leg of a Rugby player, spits out the side. It's a lovely step from Ben Benson. Bromsgrove certainly haven't been firing on all cylinders. Not if you look at their fantastic undefeated record so far this year. And Rugby have defended excellently well, but if you play in the right areas for long enough, then a mistake like that can set you on your way. And Henry Parsons has the opportunity to extend Bromsgrove's advantage. And the sun right in his eyes, Parsons makes no mistake, and Bromsgrove, good value for their early lead.
Yeah, we'll definitely see Ben Benson's step. Definitely be on replay a lot in school. Take someone's ankles, that's what happens. I'm sure he'll be happy with that.
Well, Rugby have looked threatening when they've strung together a few phases, but unlike Bromsgrove, they've been unable to play enough rugby in their opposition's half. And that's the difference so far between two sides in what's been a perhaps more evenly contested encounter than would have been expected, given Bromsgrove's excellent record. But Stridham gets us underway, and it's been spilled off the kickoff. And Rugby suddenly are up to the 22. Buriani with a carry through the first contact. Stridham, Kayada, Pearce gets the offload away. But Bromsgrove have numbers to shut down that phase of the attack. It's a hard carry from Kekianato, but Bromsgrove have turned it over on the floor. Great work from Osborne. And now they look to clear. Yeo only finds Mitchell. Stridham. Rugby taking them on. Brown with the step, but the ball goes down. And Bromsgrove will escape. Nervous start from the kickoff, George.
Yeah, you know what, it's just one of those, unfortunately. Sometimes you drop them, sometimes you catch them. Obviously, you'd hope to catch them more times than you not, but not something you can deal with as much.
Well, a good start from the restart for Rugby, but for the fruits of their labour, all they have is an opposition scrum inside the 10 metre of Bromsgrove. And we saw Ben Benson make plenty of yardage from a similar position earlier on in this first half. They lead by just the one try, converted by Henry Parsons, who's only missed 2 attempts at the conversion from his time at Bromsgrove. And he carries at first receiver and finds a great offload to Horton. Now Colley could be in behind, searching for an offload once more. There's Bromsgrove players in support, and now Yeo finds the forwards who are flooding through. Lewis, brought down by Kayada, but a simple move off the scrum, well executed from Bromsgrove, has put them in the ascendancy. Big carry from Harrison Osborne, the vice-captain over the gain line. Benson, Yeo, through Fraser Jones. Rolls on the floor and the penalty is given, and just as Rufus Pearce was penalised earlier in the first half, this time Bromsgrove are at the wrong end of that decision. But a really promising attack overall, George.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately a silly mistake. We've already seen that an opposition player has been pinged for rolling, so I'm not quite sure why he'd do it as well, but it's all right. He'll learn from that mistake and hopefully not do that again.
One of the various new rules that's been introduced in recent years. Some old habits die harder than others. And Jordan Stridham found touch. So Robert Gaffan with the ball in hand will throw another rugby line out, as they'll most certainly look to play from this position just inside their own 10-metre. To the maul they go, well taken by Bird. And a good initial shove with the ball in the hands of Gaffan. He's driven them up to halfway. Still driving on. Gaffan picks it to himself, takes two to bring him down. And it's Gallagher in there attempting to support. Once again picked at the base by Rugby, who look to clean up this messy ball. Stable possession then for the men in white. Sam Bird. And now Stridham looks to launch an attack. Mitchell into the line, brought down by Colley. Good counter-up from Bromsgrove, but it's into the hands of Gallagher. And it's been turned over by Bromsgrove. And Colley, it's a great take from Gilbert. Driven back well by Viriani, his opposite number. And Benson shows and goes himself and breaks the tackle of Gallagher. And Benson has Pearson inside him. Pearson chopped down just 5 metres short. But the try is given. He's driven himself over the line. Uses all of his momentum. And Henry Pearson has Bromsgrove second. Well, he's scored the most opportunistic of tries, Ben Benson, to open Bromsgrove's account. And out of nothing there, he's created another, George.
Yeah, well, as I said earlier, obviously he's an electric 9, creates opportunities out of nothing, and you've got to watch around the rocks. I'm sorry, but Ben will take you.
Well, despite the best efforts of Harry Tannett, Henry Pearson's used his momentum and just slid over the white line of Rugby, and Bromsgrove have another. And with his vision in Pears, Henry Pearson's will have another go from the tee. Parsons, sorry, of course. The Midlands West EAP. It's a delegation given to the Academy's most exciting young players. And Henry Parsons, who's had something to say about everything good that Bromsgrove have done this season, has scored. Unable to convert from the tee, but that puts Bromsgrove up by 12. A good position to be in this late stage of the first half, George.
Yeah, it's a great position to be in. Obviously up 12 points. Hopefully we can increase that lead going into the second half. Get further and further away from the opposing team, make it hard for them to come back. And from there, hopefully we just carry it on through the second half.
Well, it's a very contestable kickoff from Stridham, but eventually touch is found. But the ball goes the way of the host Rugby School, so perhaps just a Bromsgrove hand that deflected the ball out of bounds. And in the very last stages of this first half, they'll have an opportunity to strike inside Bromsgrove half. Gaffan, up goes Kekianato, and now Stridham finds Salveson at first receiver. Kekianato searching for an offload, but the ball goes loose. And Bromsgrove look to play with a bit of broken field ahead of them. Benson, Yeo, Holden adds some real pace onto his carry, and they're up to halfway. It's an excellent kick sent wide by Yeo, and how close was Josh Horton to getting on the end of it? But instead it's been knocked on by Rugby, and that will bring an end to this first half. Well, for the first 20 minutes, it was a hotly contested game. But the number 9 for Bromsgrove, Ben Benson, has really stolen the show. First with a opportunistic opening try, and then breaking the line to put one of their real talismans, Henry Parsons, under the posts. They could have had another right at the very end there. but the half-time score puts Bromsgrove 12 up against Rugby. Well, George, pretty nerve-wracking half at times, but Bromsgrove are very much in the ascendancy at the half-time interval. What kind of messages will be being sent on with your side leading by 12?
Well, the coaches definitely be speaking to them. We've got to keep pushing, keep going through. You know what, we've had some chances that we've messed up. That's all right, it happens. You see, it happens in international rugby, pro-level rugby, everything. Every level of rugby, chances get messed up. And it's unfortunate, but we keep learning from them, and hopefully we're meant to look to make the passes next time.
Well, here's the first try on screen. The ball just shoots out so unkindly from that scrum, just 5 metres out from Rugby's line. And it is a pretty frightening step from Benson to send his opposite defender the wrong way.
Yeah, might be wanting to go back to South Africa after that one.
And once again, Benson involved. Catches Gallagher unawares. And a player of Henry Parsons' quality always going to finish from there. Well, a difficult half for Rugby, who have played excellently well against one of the most informed sides in England at the moment at this level. They've got a lot of work to do in that second half if they wish to overcome this 12-point deficit that they currently endure. We'll be back very shortly for the second half, live here at Rugby School with NextGen very shortly. back to it then in the second half between Rugby School and Bromsgrove. Rugby, despite some impressive spells of defence and a couple of threatening attacks, unable to score so far against this talented Bromsgrove side who lead by 12. Strydom gets us underway. George, we were speaking half-time that Bromsgrove are more of a second-half team in your experience this season.
Yeah, you know, we always show up in the second half, and of course we show up in the first half as well, but the second half's where it's at. I think Rugby are going to need to defend better this half, as I'm sure we will attack a lot better than we have done.
Well, Benson with the clearance only as far as Strydom.
Go for it, Mitch, come on!
Now there's a bit of space in this channel for Rugby to play into. Good footwork from Mitchell. Good leg drive too. Gallagher. Gaffan takes contact. Messy ball, but swept up well by Gallagher, and Strydom kicks it long, and it's an excellent kick all the way into the corner. Well gathered by Benson, who will clear. Well, that was almost an unbelievable kick from Jordan Strydom. A great work in the backfield to cover it up.
Yeah, Benson's done really well there. Of course, not letting it go out for the 50-22, which would have been a bit awkward. Put them in a good position. That's quite close to the 5 as well.
He's having quite a game, the scrum half. Setting up 2 tries, scoring 1 himself already. Puts them 12 ahead.
Keeps playing like this, will be en route to man of the match, I think.
Line out for Rugby following that clearance. They look to go to the back, but it's over Jack Brown. So Bromsgrove come away with it. Kingsley Reid takes contact. Through the forwards. Bromsgrove carry. And this time, Benson clears. Returned by Mitchell. Spectators cover their eyes from the sun as they hunt for where that ball goes, and well, Toby Lewis called for the mark and then tapped and went. Kekianato there to cover, taking on water and driving through the contact, but it's been spilled. And Colley comes away with it, finding Parsons. And Bromsgrove suddenly with possession on halfway. Townsend Ford. Yeo. Osborne. Great momentum, driving towards the 10-metre mark of Rugby. Lovely offload. Yeo switches the direction of the attack. Good line speed from Rugby though. Gilbert forced to offload, but still Bromsgrove looking to attack down that far side. And they're over the 10-metre, but Rugby are over the ball. Matt Brown unable to turn it over, so Yeo finds Holden. It's a great shot from Rugby. And they've turned it over too. Excellent work from Bird. And a huge shot on the physically formidable Holden, and the turnover as well. And it's Viriani to hack it away. And there's a chase on here. Lewis is across to cover, but it's been hacked through by Rugby. Touchdown in the end. But I'm not sure the try has been given. Excellent work by Tannett. A wonderful kick through by Adam Viriani as well. But the ball, unfortunately, just raced away from Tannett, and it will be a dropout for Bromsgrove. But what a great counter-attack from the home side. And they'll have possession from this goal line dropout as well. That's a good clearance to that right-hand side, and Strydom puts it to the toe, just behind the defensive line. Bromsgrove with a good, clean ruck, attempting to cover the ball, but it's straight out. But the penalty goes their way, and Bromsgrove escape. Well, very close there, Bromsgrove, to conceding for the first time in this game, George.
Yeah, great attack by Rugby. I think we've done well to hold on, but surely more defensive coverage is needed in those instances.
We'll have a look at this kick through by the open side flanker as well, Viriani. Great effort, and that's an excellent hack through from Tannett as well, who's so close to touching that ball down, but just over the line. And then as Jordan Stridham chipped it over the top when Rugby regained possession, a penalty at the breakdown has left us with a Bromsgrove line out inside their own half. Well, Rugby send up 2 to compete, but Bromsgrove come away with it. It's a good line at first receiver, but a great tackle from Salveson, and now Brown driving through the first contact. Rugby have it back. Stridham chips it over the top once again, but gathered well by Gilbert. He's got Stridham for company, and he's put it down as well. And now Rugby play with knock-on advantage. Great work from Jordan Stridham to disrupt. Salveson. Canvin. Rugby looking to take on Bromsgrove right on the gain line with these forward carries. Brown takes it quickly. Chip through by Kayada into the corner. Once again, it can't be regathered. But another exciting attack from Rugby, only inches away. And it's been a great start to the second half by the home team.
Yeah, you know, they've come out all guns blazing. But I think Bromsgrove defensive coverage just needed a bit more, because anyone could have seen that crossfield coming from a mile away. It's a bit obvious, but nothing to shut it down. Just got a bit fortunate.
For the second time in this second half, Harry Tannett, part of that Rosslyn Park winning side, who started every game this season, came so close to scoring from a chip through. Pierce. Another dangerous carrier. Brought down just shy of the 22. And now Bird looking to find Brown with the offload, but Matt Brown would have rathered the Leicester Tigers second row carried himself, and Rugby sustained pressure in this second half. For now, has been relieved. Bromsgrove will have a scrum.
Yeah, it just comes down to just doing too much. I think not every team can play like Fiji. A lot of teams try to, but it just causes handling errors upon handling errors. And then see where they are. They could have had a good attack if they just held that ball.
Rugby always looking to play expansive, but they still trail by 12 to this Bromsgrove side, looking to keep their undefeated start to the season going ahead of their big cup game in Stamford later on in the week. Well, it's come quickly out the back for Benson, who hacks it away clear. And it's unfortunately gone straight out. It was an excellent kick, but just a bit too much on it for Ben Benson, and this is a great opportunity for Rugby.
Yeah, definitely got a good line out in a good position. But to be honest, I'm hoping that they mess it up again. You know, they've got a good hooker in England. Shouldn't really be messing up line out for us, but you know, can't get it perfect every time. Oh, it's not the pitch anymore.
Well, there is a substitution for Rugby. Monroe Hogg, who covers both hooker and back row, like a certain ageing South African in the World Cup final recently. He now has responsibility from the line out as Gaffan leaves the field for the moment. Well, that's a penalty for a bit of contact in the air, and there could be more here. Unfortunately, Sam Bird has hit the ground with a bit of a thud. Hopefully he'll be all right. Been readily attended to. And in fact, it's Pietro Cacchianato who is straight back to his feet, which is pleasant for all of us to see. But that is a penalty to go against Bromsgrove. And you imagine they'll opt for another line out. It's good to see that Cacchianato is back to his feet and seems to be in a good position as Jordan Stridham will look to nudge towards the corner. Well, it might have looked a little bit physical at in real time, George, but in reality, it's an easy mistake to make, putting your hand on the opposition a touch early in the line out.
Yeah, and you know what? You see it all the time. Ebonet's the best done it. I think it was just unfortunate that this time he landed quite harshly. It's just one of those things. Obviously, it's not what we want to see happen, but it just happens sometimes.
Good news for Rugby though is Pietro Cacchianato is able to continue, and an excellent kick from Fly half Jordan Stridham puts Rugby in a threatening position. Monroe Hogg with his second line-out throw. His pristine white shirt, yet to see much action this afternoon. Bird is picked out, and the ball's gone down, but it's gone down due to Rugby's intervention, but Salveson crashes over. Quick thinking from the tight head. The 6th generation of his extended family to attend rugby school. Rotated all season, but with Will Hosking out injured, Hugh Salveson has established himself on the team and scores a crucial try to get Rugby back into this contest. Well, the maul went down, but Canvin with the ingenuity to place it back. And then Rugby just reacted a bit quicker here than Bromsgrove. And Rugby back in the game with Alfie Mitchell. He's a keen golfer, must be said, George. He's currently debating which sport to continue at Bucks University level.
Maybe this kick will give him a bit more insight. Golf. Maybe it should be golf.
Alfie Mitchell brings out the wedge, but it just hangs to the left-hand side of the uprights. So Rugby continue to trail. 12 points to 5, however. They've cut the deficit down to 7.
Just a clever play from the number 3 there. That's heads up rugby, and coaches always say, keep your head up when you're playing, and that's the exact reason why. Good demonstration of skill.
Bromsgrove to kick us off then. So once again, a very contestable kick. Bromsgrove put in the big shot on first phase. And they're scrapping in the breakdown as well. It looks like they may have turned it over. And Bromsgrove have possession again. In goes Jones to play 9. Finds Osborne, his front row compatriot, who carries over the gain line. Now Bromsgrove suddenly looking to swing momentum back in their favour. Good carry from Parsons. Benson, Yeo. Lewis weathers a big shot from 2 Rugby players. This time it's Hobbs. Quick ball then for Yeo. And Rugby are a few numbers short. Good ball out wide from Holden. And Bromsgrove crash over. And it's simple Rugby really exploiting the advantage. I believe it's the debutant, Henry Clack, who goes over on that far side. In your absence, George, good to see him getting on the score sheet.
Yeah, and you can hear the cheers from the sidelines. Parents are loving it. And, you know, he's valiant, he's bravely stepped up to take this place, you know, against a good school rugby for a good team, Bromsgrove. So it's nice to see him get his name on the score sheet. Just brought in this week as well. All props to him.
Pretty exceptional hands from Osborne and especially Oliver Holden as well to fling that ball wide.
Yeah, would have thought Osborne would put it out the back, but still a good option to Holden, and Holden's done really well to put a nice pass, acting like he's the centre.
Well, Bromsgrove re-establish their 12-point advantage, and it's been converted from the tee as well. So Bromsgrove go 19 points to 5 in front. Well, just as you thought Rugby were getting back into the game, Bromsgrove straight from kickoff go down the other end.
Well, yeah, that's just how rugby is really. You see it a lot, full pitch tries, even in international level rugby. And that's not
well, it's a lovely teasing kick from Stridham that just crosses the white line of that 10-metre. And now Canvin carries straight away from kickoff. We've had another turnover. Kekianato. Good leg drive. Gallagher has it. Stridham. Kayada. Looking to break through the first tackle. Kayada still going, almost got away from Bromsgrove there. But they were playing with penalty advantage for a high tackle. Well, the second half really is all go, George. If you thought that Rugby were down and out after that first half, there's still very much a game on here.
Yeah, you can can never rule any team out. I think you just got to keep the tackles down, really. You know, in this day and age of rugby, it's a new era. You've got to keep the tackles down. Refs will ping you, and they're looking more to ping people. It's all about safety now.
Well, another excellent kick from Stridham puts Rugby right in the corner, and Monroe Hogg has another line out to contend with. They scored from a very similar position just a few moments ago at the start of this second half, over on this near side. Once again, Rugby go aerial at the line out. This time in search of Bird, but that ball is not straight. And it's a turnover in possession, Bromsgrove scrum. Missed opportunity for Rugby.
Yeah, 100%, but you know, again, it's just one of those things. There's no hooker in the game that can say they haven't thrown a not straight line out. If so, they just haven't thrown a line out at all. So I think, you know, he just needs to keep his head up and go get the next one.
Well, we'll have an opportunity from this scrum to make amends right away. Bromsgrove seeking to exit. It was from this position that they scored their first try, Bromsgrove, an opposition scrum in the 5 metre, when Ben Benson went scrambling after a loose ball. But a penalty goes to Rugby at scrum time. Well, especially at this level, it's pretty difficult to get anything out of the scrum. But Rugby have done so, and they've tapped from the penalty as well, and they have another penalty advantage to contend with. Bromsgrove's ill discipline costing them here. Stridham finds Kayada, who carries, but it's quick ball for Rugby. Salveson, the try scorer, picking and going and breaking the gain line. Canvin with Kekianato in support. Gallagher now finds Stridham, crossfield yet again in search of Tannett. This time he's there, but it's just been spilt. But it's another high tackle that Bromsgrove are penalised for, and their own worst enemy at the moment in defence.
Yeah, again, it's just ill discipline. We've got to keep the tackles down. I think 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We can't keep going high, we've got to go down.
Well, Rugby stopped on the gain line with that attack. Some impressive defending from Bromsgrove up front against a Rugby side that's already flexed their muscles so far. They're just inches short. Brown leaves it for Gallagher. Stridham looking to crash over himself. Salveson in support. Kayada. Pearce looking to hit in the offload, but it's an excellent tackle. Bromsgrove driving Rugby back. Here's Brown once more. Carries it upright and still inches short. Well, it's messy on the floor, and anyone could come away from it here. In fact, it's Brendan Colley who falls on it, but another penalty goes against Bromsgrove. This time for offside. Relentless Rugby attack as they're keen to get themselves back in the game, but once again it's a huge shot to drive Rugby back. They still have possession. Gallagher, Kayada at first receiver, takes it on himself. There's the offload. Viriani awaiting the referee's decision. Well, Bromsgrove certainly think they've held it up. Well, we'll have a look at the replay here, George. There's no TMO in play, but it was a great carry from Kayada, drawing in the defenders. Gets in the offload. And has he touched that down, or is he blocked it with his own elbow? But eventually, it does look like he may have got that down, Viriani. So unlucky. But from the goal line drop, Canvin comes back, breaking through the contact. A relentless bit of play. Gallagher, there's a hand in there from Bromsgrove. There could be another penalty. Kayada sweeps it up. It was kicked away by Bromsgrove and played to the whistle, of course. There's the offload. Viriani, huge shot to dislodge. But Bromsgrove, yet again, were penalised. Well, Bromsgrove's ill discipline really costing them now, George, because they've kept Rugby out a number of times.
Yeah, that's obviously we've had some big shots by Benyo. Might look small, but definitely punches above his weight class. And obviously Owen Hill, our youngest player on the team, only in year 11, and he's out here dump tackling under 18, so props to him. I think just need a bit of improvement on the discipline. Can't keep giving away penalties near our line.
Once again, Rugby tap. Kekianato driving on. Spins away, must score! Now they've done it. Pietro Kekianato in for the injured Roberts after his first England call-up. He's been industrial all afternoon. And now he has his try. Well, it was great physicality displayed by the number 8. Looked to be held up over the line from this carry, but made absolutely sure by worming and weaving his way out of the contact, and Rugby score another. Just dragged through the contact by Bird as well. And Rugby score. Well, they are good value for that score following the countless opportunities they've had in the 22 over the last few moments.
Yeah, he's done well to stay on his feet there, but I think he just has to be put down. That's as much I don't want to say it is a bit of a silly mistake. He has to be put down in that area. I think, but you know what? Fair props to him. He's done well. I think Rugby's done well to keep us under the cosh.
Oh, Mitchell so unlucky, just strikes the upright. So Rugby still trail by 9. 19-10 the current score. Well, certainly got a game on here with 15 minutes to go. An undefeated Bromsgrove trail by 9 points to a rejuvenated Rugby who have come out with a point to prove in this second half. Stridham hacks it clear with a long, high boot, claimed well by Lewis, who looks for the return and will find touch. Rugby's so often a game of momentum, George, and it's swung Rugby's way in this second half, despite a really well-worked try by Bromsgrove.
Yeah, you know what, they've come out all guns blazing, so I have to give all props to them. And now it's time for Bromsgrove to turn up a few gears, get back a good lead, and just keep us outside, really.
Well, they'll have a line out to contend with. That's Rugby's possession, following that clearance by Lewis. And you imagine Rugby once again will look to take it on from here. Kekianato slaps it back. It's been returned excellently well by Tanet. Still driving through the contact. Osborne's over the ball, but it comes the way of Rugby. Canvin, Stridham, Kayada. There's the line from Pearce, who gets the offload to Kayada. Rugby, fluid Rugby from the home side. Mitchell eventually brought down, but Rugby driving up to the 10-metre. Viriani breaking through the contact of Townsend Ford. Well, the wind is really in their sails now. Canvin chopped on the 22. Down the short side goes Stridham. Takes it to the line himself. Gallagher finds Bird. Gallagher now finds Kayada in the playmaking role. Great line by Pearce, but an excellent shot from Bromsgrove. Canvin once again holds Rugby to the 22. And it's a knock-on on the floor. Well, a great initial break from Rugby, but excellent defending from Bromsgrove. There's a counter-ruck through the gate. Scores a knock-on on the floor. Now it's James Hobbs who affects the turnover. Haven't seen too much of the number 8, another Midlands West Academy member today.
Maybe not shining stars and the rest, but he's definitely been putting in a lot of hard work on the ground, hard work over the ball. He's definitely always influential to our team, even if he's not making 100-yard breaks.
Well, he's caused a huge turnover there, just as Rugby were looking to cut this 9-point deficit even more so. The boot of Henry Parsons. What's really separating the two sides. Rugby looking to disrupt at the scrum, but Benson comes away with it. And And they'll look to run from inside their 22 here. There's the try scorer on his debut, Henry Clack. But Rugby turn it over. A huge moment, and Pearce looks to tap and go quickly, teasing that Bromsgrove defence. And this time, Pearce does go himself, taking on all comers. Rugby playing with quick ball. Gallagher finds Bird. Good leg drive. And that's straight on the 9 from Brendan Colley, so they'll play with penalty advantage. Bromsgrove's ill-discipline coming back to bite them once more. Kekianato, the try scorer, once again with a great leg drive, edging ever closer. Brown, brought down once again. Bird leaves it instead and goes into support. Colley's there with a turnover, but we will finally see a yellow card. All of these penalties inside the 22, and it looks like Brendan Colley will be sent off. Oh, instead it's Fraser Jones. Well, down to 14, George. Must be feeling a little bit nervous now.
I think I'm quite alright, actually. You know, we've been in 14 men before against Oakham and Stowe. We had 14 men. Still, we pulled through the win. Didn't let them go against us and win. So.
And just as you say that, Bromsgrove force a huge turnover with the counter ruck, but Rugby, with Hugh Salveson, are right back in possession following a knock-on from the first initial carry. Well, it looks like it will be a scrum for Rugby following that frantic bit of play. Just to run you through those events, it was tapped quickly by Rugby. It was an excellent turnover from Gilbert, but then a huge shot put on him in defence, dislodged the ball, and now Rugby have a scrum. Well, in that big 38-17 win against Berkhamsted, Bromsgrove were down to 14 and still came through with the victory. They lead by 9 here. Have a small break in play while some substitutions are assessed. Well, the yellow card was always coming, really, George, given the sheer number of penalties in the 22. But Fraser Jones has been unlucky that he was just the last straw that broke the camel's back in that accumulation card.
Yeah, just a bit unfortunate there, but I think just more discipline is needed. You know, we can't be giving away so many penalties. And you know, Jack Gilbert, unlucky, I think lost his footing a bit, slipped over, and it's unfortunate to have been tackled and lost the ball. And now it's all about how do we bounce back and how do we stop Rugby from scoring here. We have 9-point lead, so I think if they do score a try and conversion, we still are up. It's all about what can we not let them do from then on.
That's right, George. Rugby do trail by 9 with 10 minutes to go here. A little bit less on the scoreboard behind me. But a crucial phase of the game. Rugby really must come away with points from this position. Already won a scrum pen here in this game already. Gallagher with the feed. A crucial period for Rugby. What a statement this would be coming back after half-term, beating this undefeated Bromsgrove side as Kekianato takes contact. Bromsgrove straight over the ball, but Bird is poised at the back. Hands it off to Salveson, looking for his second try. Driven back by Bromsgrove, but the ball is available. Viriani, inches short. Through the forwards again they go. There's the try. Rugby score. A huge moment for the men in white. And it's the substitute Monroe Hogg with the big England-sized boots of Robert Gaffan to fill, but he's scored off the bench and he's cut the deficit to just 4 points with a kick in front of the post to come. Well, given the number of penalties in their 22, a try was always coming, despite the best efforts of Bromsgrove.
Yeah, I think the try has been looking like it will come for a while. You know, I think we've defended well to hold out this long. Now it's time for us to get our own back and make sure we do not lose this game.
Well, this time Mitchell stabs it home from right in front of the uprights. 19-17, Bromsgrove still lead against the host rugby school, looking for just their second win of the season against this undefeated Bromsgrove side, who are 7 from 7. They could be about to taste their first defeat of the year. Ben Yeo to get us underway from the restart. It's a good kick, and who's there first but Ben Benson, the number 9, to pile on the pressure, and it's a good counter-ruck once again from Bromsgrove, a feature of their kick-off return. Jordan Stridham forced back into his 22, hooks it high, and finds Toby Lewis. Well, Lewis will look to run it himself this time, dragged down by Bird. Benson finds Townsend Ford. Huge shot put on him, right on halfway. Yeo, Gilbert looking to free up the hands, but wrapped up by Marcus Law, but a penalty for not releasing. Gilbert had found ground, but was still held up by his opposite men. So Ben Yeo will look to find touch, and the ball does go out despite the best efforts of Mitchell and co. It was a good tackle by Marcus Law, but once Gilbert hit the deck, the tackler had to release instead of stripping the ball. Bromsgrove with the perfect opportunity to respond, George.
Yeah, I think we've had a nice opportunity to get in the 22. Bit of ill-discipline, you know, it's a good opportunity, but unfortunately he just needs to wait. Oh, not wait, sorry, he just needs to let go when Jack has hit the floor. See our replacement prop holds multiple world records at his weight class for weightlifting, with a combined total of around 1,500 pounds, I think, for all his lifts.
Well, that is an impressive stat for a front row to have. On, of course, for Fraser Jones, who saw yellow. But the referee's just having a discussion due to the number of players on field. So they brought on a replacement prop in order to scrum down, but they've been playing with a man up, unfortunately. Henry Goldstraw came onto the field. The referee now having a conversation with the captain, Ben Yeo, because it seems like Bromsgrove may have been playing with one too many. In the end, it's the under-16 Owen Hill who's been sacrificed, and it will result in a penalty for rugby. One of the strangest penalties given today, but it's just a miscommunication between the referee.
Yeah, I think that is just a lack of communication, really, and a lack of managing.
Just to update you all, Henry Goldstraw came on as a prop was needed, but Bromsgrove failed to take anyone else off. So unfortunately, a penalty went against them, and Jordan Stridham has found touch from it. And it was exactly what rugby needed under the cosh from Bromsgrove. But the try scorer, Monroe Hogg, with the line out. Kekianato seems poised to receive it. Up he goes, well claimed. Gallagher plays away. Stridham, Viriani, so often the carrier picked out in midfield, gets over the gain line. Gallagher, Kekianato, good footwork, weaving away from his defender, as he so often does. Pearce this time is out the back, brought down just outside the 10-metre of rugby. Bromsgrove come flying through the breakdown looking to disrupt, and they do so legally. The ball's been cleaned up by rugby. Once again it spits out of the breakdown, and the penalty goes to Bromsgrove. And rugby just unable to secure their own ball at the breakdown, and Bromsgrove profit. Well, they were just diving on the ball, which the referee deemed illegal. So Bromsgrove searching for posts course, with Henry Parsons' excellent record. They may well look to secure this game. Currently lead by 2. Look to take that lead beyond the 3-point penalty margin. Very little time remaining in this game. Parsons with the opportunity to stretch Bromsgrove ever so slightly further out in front. It's a good strike. Looks on target. Almost drops short, but just creeps over the touchline. And look of relief from yourself, George. Bromsgrove now 5 points up with very little time remaining.
Yeah, it's a great kick. You know, he's only ever missed 2 penalty kicks, both against Continental Schools boys. But I'm sure we can blame the winning conditions for those ones.
Well, Rugby trail by 5. They always needed a score, and the yellow card period for Bromsgrove School is also over, so Fraser Jones returns to the field. Jordan Stridham has hooked some incredibly competitive kickoffs all game. And up go Rugby, and there's a tap on there that's eventually come away instead. Down by Kekianato. Just puts him down on the angle, but nothing wrong with it from the referee. Holden with a powerful carry. Brown looking to turn it over, but instead, Ben Benson had a very impressive first half. Clears it to Mitchell. Looks to return the kick. Line out for Bromsgrove right at the very end of this game. The visitors lead by 22-17, looking to maintain their unbeaten record this season. Rugby searching for their second win here at home. They've played all their games this year. Live stream with us here at NextGen. What has been an incredibly competitive encounter. Could have a grandstand finish here if Rugby can win it back. Bromsgrove just need to maintain possession for a few moments more.
4, 6, 2, 1.
Harrison Osborne, the vice-captain, sends it high. Rugby disrupts. Carried on by Viriani. The jubilation of this home crowd. Canvin carries up over the gain line. Bromsgrove look to counter up once more. Eventually the ball comes Rugby's way. Kekianato. Over goes Hogg in support. Stridham. Great line by Pearce, almost breaking through. Kekianato with another carry. It's been everywhere today for Rugby. Quick ball then for Gallagher. Kayada beats the early press.
Go on.
Held up by Benson. Ball is called. Killed it. And with that, they may have well killed the game. Huge moment for them, George.
Absolutely brilliant. Really well held up in the final minutes of the game. Nice to have seen.
Well, it is a game-winning intervention from Bromsgrove, who have been hard fought for another victory here on the road. They go 8 from 8 in this impressive season with their huge cup game against Stamford up next in the area final of the National Cup. Rugby School in a game that, well, could have certainly gone further against them given the impressive record of their visitors, have put up a real fight here and were at times enviously close to turning the game around. But at the final score, Bromsgrove have taken the victory away from home by 22-17 to the host Rugby School. Well, an incredibly thrilling encounter here, George.
Yeah, you know what? An absolutely brilliant match to watch. I think, wish it was as close as it was. Had to come down to the last play, but no, it's brilliant. They've come through to carry on our unbeaten streak. Well played to Rugby, put everything through. Unfortunately, didn't come out on top. Thank you for hosting us.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you alongside us here, George, as well. We'll run through the tries and tell you the story of this game. It was a first half that took Bromsgrove about 20 minutes or so to really get going. Rugby came close to upsetting the away team, but it was a bit of fortune. Ben Benson fell upon with gratitude. Great footwork to beat Stridham, and he opened the scoring. The number 9 was involved yet again for their second try. An excellent little snipe from the number 9. Caught Gallagher unawares. Put through Henry Parsons, highlighted as one of the key players in this Bromsgrove side before the game. Showed what he was all about with that great finish. That was how things went into the half-time interval, with Bromsgrove leading by 12 unanswered points. But Rugby came out firing in that second half, and some more opportunistic rugby from Hugh Salveson this time, following the collapse of the Mall, to dot down and open Rugby's account. And just when you thought Rugby were going to swing the momentum in this game, Bromsgrove came right back at them at the kickoff, and only a few minutes later scored another. This Rugby's second try to cut the deficit back to 9 points. Kekianato dragged over the line by Bird. And Rugby had another, now chasing a scoreline of 19-10. Crashed over through the forwards for a third time. But despite this spirited second half showing, Bromsgrove had enough to hold out. This was the try that they scored straight after Rugby's opening score, and a penalty as well is what set them on their way for their 22-point advantage. Great ball as well from the Midlands West Academy front row, Oliver Holden. Well, a spirited fight back from Rugby against heavily favoured opposition who have continued their undefeated run. Final score here at Rugby School, Bromsgrove have beaten Rugby by 22-17. Thanks very much for joining us, George.
Well, thank you for having me, it's been a pleasure.
And thank you for joining us all here at NextGen. Of course, Rugby's next game will also be live streamed, as they all are this season. They take on Marlborough College on Wednesday the 15th. That'll be live here on Old Big Side at the Close. But for now, Rugby must wallow in the taste of yet another defeat, searching for their second win of the campaign. They've been taken down by a heavily favoured Bromsgrove in the narrowest of circumstances by 22-17.